Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Franco Rodriguez. I am one of the lead instructors for ADHI Real Estate Schools. I want to give you guys a quick industry update. Today is June 15th, 2021. What is significant about today? Well, if you've been following the news, today the state of California has opened up to some degree, and they've loosened the restrictions that we've had to endure over the last 15 months with coronavirus. From what I understand, the color tier systems have gone away. And in most cases, there's no more social distancing. There's no more restrictions on capacities inside restaurants, offices, retail, etc. So what does that mean for the real estate industry? Well, I want to give you guys a quick industry update as to how we're now affected, some things that are going to linger on. So last week, the California Association of Realtors released a quick guide. They oftentimes do this when they want to put out new information to the masses of real estate agents in California. This quick guide was specific to the opening of California on June 15th, and more specifically on open houses and showings. So it's a one-page document. They address some topics as it relates to open houses, and I want to point out a few things to you guys. So you should be able to see my screen here. So one of the big questions is, is there going to be restrictions on open houses and showings? Some of the restrictions started to loosen up a couple of weeks ago. But this is as we know them as of today, okay? So you'll see there, it says the only legal restriction will be for wearing masks. Otherwise, there will be no restrictions. No physical distancing will be required. No cleaning, no posted rules of entry, CAR form, PRE, and no PED forms, okay, of any type or any sign-in sheets, okay? No one will have to agree to an office prevention plan, and no one's going to have to attest to their current health status, which was the whole point of the PED form, okay? So from what we can see right now, everything has been lifted. You can now do open houses, no appointments needed, okay? No PED forms, no posted rules of entry. The only thing we still need to do in our industry is wear a face mask when on a showing and or a open house. That's going to be the only restriction right now. Now, they do say that if you're on a private showing, if everybody's been vaccinated, then there can be no face mask are needed, okay? But if one person has not been vaccinated, face masks are going to be required. The safer bet's probably just have a face mask with you and have it on during a private showing or an open house. It's pretty much the only restriction, okay? Now, in that document, I'm gonna go back to it for just a second, okay? You're gonna see down towards the bottom of that document, it says, is there a Q&A that provides more information? There is, and they've actually written one up. It's 4 pages long. I'm not gonna go over every one of the 4 pages, but we'll make it available to you in the link with this video. But if you go over to the bottom, it says June 15th reopening, open houses and showings. There is a Q&A. Now, there's one question that I did blow up for you, and I've got it here on the screen. My seller wants to require that everyone entering the property wear a mask or be vaccinated. Can the seller require this? Well, according to the Q&A, it says yes. The seller can set their own rules as to who will be admitted to the property. Pretty interesting. The seller can require all visitors to wear a mask. It's kind of already a guideline. Require all visitors to be vaccinated or show a negative COVID test. Implement a vaccine verification to determine whether individuals are required to wear a mask, provide information to all visitors regarding vaccination requirements, and allow vaccinated individuals to self-attest that they are in compliance prior to entry. So the seller can set some rules in terms of who they want to allow inside the home for the showing. Now, if you're a realtor already in the industry, I would discuss this with your seller. And if they do want to have some sort of requirement, that you make sure that you notate that requirement in the listing agreement, okay? Now, just came to mind right now, I'm gonna back up to the quick guide, okay? And on the quick guide, down towards the bottom, it does also address a CAR form that we were having used, CAR form RLA CAA, Residential Listing Agreement, Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment. Okay, I think that's how it goes. And it basically talks about how if you need to remove that from the contract or make an amendment to it, there's some suggested language there. So again, definitely want to take a look at that quick guide. A lot of good tips in there. Okay, so just moving forward here, I'm going back to that. Just want to make sure that you guys know to not only look at the quick guide, look at the Q&A, a lot of great information there. Now, today I'm in my office and I've just from an earshot, I'm hearing people ask, do we still have to wear face masks in the office? Well, another thing we're going to add into the links here is the weekly coronavirus recap that the California Association of Realtors puts out. And this is a recap from June 9th, just last week. Okay. And one of the things that they mentioned in there is that face masks must continue to always be worn in the office. Okay. So face masks on open houses and on private showings, you're going to need those. Okay. Face mask in your office setting, still going to need those as well. So if you're thinking that you get to ditch the face mask when you go into your broker's office, most likely that's not going to be the case. Suggested by the California Association of Realtors that you still wear face masks in the building. Okay. And that really is going to be for the fact that not everybody wants to get the vaccination, and that's okay. That's their choice. But unless you're in a setting where everybody has been vaccinated, chances are you're probably still going to have to wear the face mask. Okay. So if you're thinking again, face masks are gone, hold on to those things. You're still going to need them. And a side note, I've been reading some of the guidelines for the county and the state. If you travel on public transportation, a bus, subway, railway, airplane, you still need to have the face mask. You need to have them in hospitals, K through 12 schools. So we haven't gotten rid of the face mask rule altogether. There's just less of a restriction. Okay. Now, we also have a lot of agents who are traveling. We're realtors. We love to travel. Okay. There are some guidelines that have been put out by the Los Angeles County Health Department. My office is in LA County. A lot of the business that I do is in LA County. So I'm going based on those guidelines. Side note, you should probably check with your own respective county to find out what the travel guidelines are, as well as any of the other guidelines that I've talked about. But in terms of traveling, okay, there's two categories that you're going to need to look at. If you've traveled outside of the state of California, whether it's just across the border to Las Vegas, to Florida on the East Coast, you've taken a plane somewhere, you're in another country, Puerto Rico, whatever the case may be. Okay, there are some guidelines to follow. Now, if you've been fully vaccinated, let's talk about what fully vaccinated means. Fully vaccinated means that more than 2 weeks after your second shot of Moderna or Pfizer, or your single dose of Janssen, which is the Johnson & Johnson, you may return to the office with no restrictions because you're fully vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, for non-vaccinated individuals, when you return back, you've taken a COVID test and your results have come back negative, you can return to work after a 7-day quarantine. If you've returned to California non-vaccinated without a COVID test, you opted to not take one for whatever the reason may be, then you can return to work with a 10-day quarantine, So we've got a lot of agents who are traveling right now. They're just ready to break loose and get out there and enjoy vacation with their families. There are still some restrictions as it relates to our industry and just everybody as a whole when you come back to California, whether you're vaccinated or non-vaccinated. So I'm hoping this information has helped you. I am not an attorney, so please don't misconstrue anything I've given you as legal advice, nor am I a medical doctor. So please don't misconstrue anything I've given you as health advice. We're going to give you the information to where I've grabbed all of this, or the links to where I've grabbed all this information. Read it for yourself, understand it for yourself, and check with your broker to find out what their guidelines are for the office, what their attorneys are telling you, and follow the advice of your broker or your office manager. I'm hoping this was helpful to you guys. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. And you guys make it a great day.